Good evening.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, see, guys, we did not kill her. She is alive and well here.
Well, alive, maybe, well, maybe not.
Welcome back, Eileen.
I'm here.
There we are. Oh my gosh.
Still working on sharing this out. Let's see.
I only mess with this once a week, and I'm here looking for where the comments are. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the one thing I don't like about this program is that you have to click on the comment section because it's not automatic.
yeah, and I just don't. I'm not on it enough, and I gotta mess with it.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
The only thing I
Well,
see is Teams anymore.
now
Uh,
here's the funny thing. I can see the comments. And I had no problems. I haven't been on it in how long?
because is yours like part of the creator one, or did you just like a guest?
I don't know, but I see Mark. I don't know.
That makes a difference. That makes
Well,
a difference.
she's coming in on the guest side.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I told Jeremy, and he knew this when he was here. I will not be here next Thursday. It's a
Okay.
crawfish bowl, and I'm getting my crawfish on.
Oh man, that sounds so good.
Free crawfish at that.
That
yeah.
really.
Apparently, that's a big thing in the South.
Well, the problem is it is a huge thing in the South. And the first time, I'd never even heard of crawfish. I lived in Kentucky. I go there. We were helping with Katrina, and this guy that was kind of, I guess, the boss. I don't know what he was. Anyway, big dude, huge, like very obese, and he's there in these. It's July in New Orleans, so and he's sitting there. Goes to the gas station. They sell them at the gas stations, cooked like you would buy chicken strips here. He
Wow.
goes and gets him a bag. Okay, brown bag. It's got grease dripping from it. And he sits down in this 100 and it's probably 100 degrees in reality, but with the humidity, it felt like 110. He sits down there and he starts doing that, biting tails, sucking heads, and throwing them. And he's got grease dripping, sweat dripping. I didn't want to touch another crawfish from that moment.
Oh,
But
you get some of those big claws too, and eat those man. Eat that meat out of the claws, man.
like crab, does it taste like crab?
Mhm.
I love crab meat. But so later, before we left, I stopped and got some at a restaurant, and they had boiled it in the seasoning where it was spicy, a little
Mhm.
spicy, not
Oh yeah.
crazy. But also in New Orleans, I found out that and I don't know if you have it, where you live, but you go to a gas station and you have the chicken strips and whatever that area has. Here, I was very disappointed to find out we don't have gizzards or hearts.
Um, I'm not big on gizzards or things like that, but we
Um,
do have the gizzards. Logan used to devour. We used to get gizzards and take it to my grandma in the nursing home. And
Oh
before
yeah.
we ever made it to the nursing home, Brand or Logan had eaten them all.
Well, and see, they didn't have that there, but they had chicken strips, which I didn't think anything about it. I ordered chicken strips. I took a bite and was not expecting, you know, 60 on the scale there. But anyway, I learned. And so now here in grocery stores, especially the Hispanic stores, they carry crawfish. I'll be
You
goddamn.
know, you can only buy them like at Mudbug. There's certain restaurants you can buy them at, but Now, my family normally has huge crawfish bowls. I mean, like,
But you don't get them frozen, right? Like they've been frozen and
I
then
mean, I will if I'm just craving it and I have no crawfish bowl to go to. But no, fresh is always best. And like my cousin's house, we go sit up in his barn, and he's got these long tables, and at the end of each table, or like not at the end of each table, but like on the sides of the table, there's holes that you just scoop the shells in to get rid, and it goes in the garbage.
right, right.
It's
And but number one, it's a Hispanic store. Most of the stuff has come from Mexico. Number one, that's so how long that meat has been, and it's when you look at it, I mean, you have to really be paying attention because beef is supposed to be a pink color, and when it looks a little gray and it's frozen, you're not buying it. It's just not. So I'm definitely not going to buy crawfish from
no,
something
no.
like that.
I don't
But
know if we have crawfish in our stores. I know that my Walmart has a seafood section, but I never go there. So I don't know if they would have any crawfish there or not.
Now I'll buy like the frozen crawfish if I'm putting it in something, but just to eat it, no, it's no.
Walmart, I don't think I would. But like Albertsons, Safeway, one of those that get things in a little more fresh. Was it was it Safeway years ago that used to have Albertsons or Safeway? Maybe Dillon's, but I think that's part of Albertsons. They had the live tanks of lobsters in the grocery stores.
Yeah, Kroger used to have that. Yeah,
Okay, so it was the
Albertson is quite a
Dillon's.
produce.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, those kind of places, okay, because they're a little higher standard, I think.
I did find out that if I have any visitors, especially from the north, we have got to go to Genebetta's.
What's that?
It's a local restaurant.
Okay.
It actually reminds me a lot of Red Yeti, where Oni and Denise took me to.
Okay, I've never been there either.
It's it's a very home style, intimate kind of restaurant.
Rustic.
Rustic, yeah.
Okay.
Um, very good place, and you get a lot of food for your money.
What kind of food do they serve?
Mixture, like I got pork chops, and Jeremy got a hamburger. That's where I saw that man eats his hamburgers. But
Usually it's
Okay.
chicken.
Tom. So that just
he's
tells me
northern.
where you're from.
I was about to say he's northern. I know he's
It's
northern.
telling me
You should have seen what her husband got.
Joe's Crab Shack. Yeah, I love Joe's Crab Shack.
He
Now
used to
it
have a
is the Tex-Mex of seafood, but yeah, I do. We don't have it here.
We used to have a Joe's Crab Shack. I think it shut down. But no, like when we were out to eat the last time, well, the second to last time, I almost got Jeremy some crawfish and made him eat it because we were at a crawfish place. But you could smell it when you walked in.
Tony's Diner or whatever it was.
Yeah,
You have to try it once. I mean, it's not.
you gotta like spicy food. I mean, I'm gonna tell you now. I don't know everywhere else around
Oh,
here. You gotta like spicy food.
I love spicy food. You should have seen the inside of that Tony's Diner that we went to. Nothing but dollar bills all over the place.
That's how Jan's bar looked up in the mountains. It had them, and if you really look close, some of them were signed, but if you really look close, you could see the years. You could pay attention to the years, and they go way back from when her mom bought it.
With with this one here, you had to look to find one that wasn't signed.
Mm.
And there was only one that I could find, and that was because it was right next to us.
That
Yeah.
was a stripper's dream.
Yeah. Well, signed or not, it still spends.
Yeah, but that's a stripper's dream. Go in there, maybe there's enough dollar bills.
I
There
think
had to have been $1,000 worth of dollar bills in there. It was a lot.
I think with inflation, strippers expect a little more these days.
But with inflation, they might get a quarter now instead of a dollar.
Yeah, I know everybody's pretty damn worried about what's going on, but some good news. Uh, whether you see it that way or not, I don't know, but news anyway is I guess they're trying to put the kibosh on some of the tariffs. So we'll see.
I heard something about a lot of tariffs being put on many countries.
Yeah, yeah. And the explanation to that, now I have not looked into it, so I don't know. I can't say, whether I agree or not because I have not actually researched it. But the explanation for the thing I saw was that this was actually signed in 2018, the first go round, and it was matching the tariffs that were put on us on our products. Whether that's true or not, of course, fake news, you have to actually go do some research, and I didn't have time for that.
Well, if that is true, then technically that's fair.
Right. And that's why I said, I'm not going to say whether I agree or not because I don't know. I don't know the other end of it. We had a huge thing here. People calling for our governor to state rep to veto the bill that was put on. And when I actually looked at the bill, if you just pay attention to what people are saying, it's unconstitutional. You can't do this and you can't do that. It was about gun laws. And when you actually look at the bill, it is very constitutional. They're not trying to take them. What they're trying to do is if you're going to have it and you're going to use it, you're going to take a class for it and you're going to, and I agree with that. We had to do that for concealed carry when we were in New Mexico. That's all they're asking is a little more stringent laws. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I can see that. The understanding that I had, based off of what these news articles were saying, is that a lot of these tariffs were being put in place so that they can try to get rid of the um, like like the federal taxes and things like that. Now,
Yeah,
that would be a lot of tariff taxes in order to do that.
right, right. And if we're evening it out, I have no problem with that. That's okay. Tit for tat on that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But
But,
if
but
we're just trying to be assholes,
the thing that worries me is that all these tariffs is that could cause them to raise the prices on these goods, and we end up paying more money anyway.
it's going to end up being a trade war. And however we look at it, that's what's going to happen. And history repeats itself. All you have to do is go back, and we'll see what's about to happen. But
Well, there's already a tax war going on between the U.S. and Canada.
I know, and I hate that because Canadians are our friends. I mean, this is
Yeah.
not. This shouldn't. But I don't know politics. I'm looking at it as just a layperson. I don't get into politics. I don't. Hi,
Politics are not my
muddy
thing.
ass.
Not my thing.
Damn.
Which is funny because we just had some elections here. And it's like, I've got two friends that are mayors, several friends that got aldermans. I've got several friends that got, I'm like, How are
Yeah.
all my friends into politics and I'm so not?
I have to, when there's an issue, like it doesn't come up on my phone because it's not what I look up. It's not what I'm
Yeah,
subscribed
I
to.
just look it up when when I have a question.
Yeah. So I get told because Lord have mercy, he is completely politics. And so I'll look something up. When I look it up, usually what you get is the stuff that is bought by certain parties
Yeah.
or paid for by certain parties. So then you have to really dig deep and you have to dig into history. And I'm like, I don't have the energy for this shit. I don't.
Well, I'm looking it up right now. Canada is our number one trading partner country wise. Um,
They may as well be part of us. I mean, like, not, I'm not
I mean,
saying that we,
but it
oh,
is part of my
Here's
family.
the problem.
So
yeah.
We've got so much problems with our countries that I don't blame the Canadians for not wanting to be a part of us.
Well, but no, I don't either because I was in Canada when I was younger. And I'm telling you, it's a
back
different,
when it was easy just to go through and they just checked you for fruit.
yeah. But they were such a different culture. The demeanor, the feel was so different because you think we're a melting pot? They really are. And, but they're welcoming to everyone. You don't see people look at you like, you're this color, you're white, they don't do that. They're very accepting, they're very nice. Now, this was, of course,
Well,
I was
granted,
living here.
they probably don't have the immigration problems that we do.
No, because most countries are very smart. And, some countries go to the extreme. I know, is it Greenland? I don't remember. There was a couple of countries, uh, Japan, China. You're not going to go live there. It's just not going to happen. With
China can't afford many any more people to come in.
No,
There,
but
there is actually a diagram out there, and there is a circle that has parts of China and most of India, and say like 3 point whatever billion people live in this small circle, and then the same amount of people live everywhere else outside the circle.
I feel bad for them. And we're getting there. I'm glad I got to see it before it got there, but they don't see countryside. They don't get to see, the animals roaming free, the mountains, the untouched land if you want to go. They they don't see that. And I think that's awful.
No, yeah, they have. I think it's India that has the most people within a certain like in a square mile or something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's getting that way here and in certain places it is that way here. Um Hi Howie. Um it is getting that way, but we still see countryside. We still can see mountains. And if we want to go high enough, Mount Everest, whatever, we're able to do that if you're dumb enough to go up Mount Everest.
I
But
I would not be at all surprised if somebody tried to blow off the top of Mount Everest and try to do a development up there.
I
It,
really hope that's not a thing and that's not a prediction because that's one of our,
when you think about what people have done and what they are doing now, um, especially with a lot of the different countries are now trying to top each other with the world's tallest buildings.
yeah, yeah.
Eventually, it's going to get to the point where okay, flatten out a mountaintop and put a village up there. It's been done before.
I mean,
I'm
that's
sure.
where I mean the everything was just ground before we started building. Period.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've done it. So
Look, look at some of the mountaintops down in South America. Some of them look like they have been formed, flattened out, and villages have been built there. There's no way that some of that terrain is naturally flat like that.
my brother lives on the side of a mountain up in northern Washington State.
Joe, who are you asking? Um, so I saw something. I guess it's been a few weeks back. I said something about it on the show. Why is this thing doing it again? Where uh,
Excuse me.
it's making me click back down to see what's going on.
Oh, the chat.
Yes, every once in a while it just gets stuck. I don't know.
Uh,
Um,
real quick, I just want to let everybody know since Howie is in the building. I think it's this Sunday. Nick is going to be or supposed to be a guest on his show.
yeah, I think so.
I don't know how that'll be now with his leg, and then the following week
He'll
I'll
be
be on
fine.
his show.
He's a trooper. He'll be fine.
Speaking of Nick, did you ever tell Nick why I do not like Illinois?
Oh,
We
we had a
discussed.
big conversation about that last week.
Okay, I didn't know if you told him why I don't like Illinois.
Oh, I told him the whole story about where we went
And
last.
you're next week, Howie says.
So you might want to get a hold of Nick because right now Nick got hurt on the job yesterday. He's already posted it on his profile, and he has to stay off of his leg for a while. And when he does shows up down in the basement. So
He'll be good by then. He's a hell of a trooper. He really is.
he is, and I have to yell at him. Stop
Mm.
doing
Oh, gee. That sounds familiar.
so. Shut up.
Oh gosh. But Eileen wasn't here when I mentioned this, and I'd like to get your thoughts on that. So I read an article which kind of sent me into a rabbit hole, but they were talking about how, we always say history repeats itself, but we're looking at, from here to Hitler to Vikings to, cavemen. But this went past that, saying that and I don't know the science behind what they were even talking about, but they said that we have now destroyed 3 planets. As humans, we have destroyed 3 planets and destroyed ourselves. And then the reason this was hooked to that was they had found the pyramids in Egypt, saying that the pyramids were just the top of what they were actually finding underground. And what they were finding underground was, it was huge. And there's so many theories about what it actually is. But they're big pillars that go down a long ways. And they're saying that the reason that it's just these little pyramids now is because we got to where we are now in the past. And we got more civilized and we had more technology than we have now back then. And then we screwed ourselves like we're about to do again. And over time, it's just been buried. And all we see now is the little tops of it. But, what are your thoughts on that? Like, could we have screwed ourselves this many times?
My thoughts on that makes my brain hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking about things like that. I mean, I could see where we have messed up other planets, but I don't know. I mean, there's so much that you could say this, you could say that. That again, it seriously does make my brain hurt. But I do believe history repeats itself. But I always say we always talk about I mean, just going to like kids nowadays. And oh, look at the kids nowadays. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. And I'm guilty. I'll be the first to tell you. I used to ramp my bike off the roof of the house.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I mean,
we were invincible back then.
but then look at it and go, okay, but our parents or our grandparents were looking at us going, the kids nowadays.
Yeah.
So, that's about as much as my brain can take thinking back. Trying to think back like that, no, it ain't happening.
Just look at what they're saying about all these pyramids. Now, it makes sense. I don't know the rest of the surrounding story, but it does make sense if we have demolished ourselves once before. That the dirt, just like if you bury or even put something.
I can see extra dirt coming and coming and coming. I mean, sandstorms happen, and but
so and what they're saying it was like a communication to the higher realm, whatever that may be.
Well, I mean, I've heard the aliens created the pyramids, and I mean, again, that just makes my brain hurt.
Yeah, and it goes into that a little bit, but it's talking about us and how civilized we were at that point, and then we fucked it up like we're doing now, and and like Howie said, we'll find out when the four crystal skulls. If I remember right, Howie, correct me, did they find like 2?
I thought there were more than 4.
I thought there were only 4.
Of them.
Now, I know people are remaking them.
But now, on your thing about we were more, civil, or we had other technologies and things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, but was it like what we have now? Because I'm about to say, because I mean, yes, every generation is going to have a little bit more than the previous, a little bit more. So yeah, do I agree with we had things back then?
Yeah.
But I don't think we can wrap our brain around. I mean, just look at the bow and arrow, okay?
Yeah.
Look where we've come from something that simple to where it is now.
Yeah.
So what they thought was great technology, or not really technology, but whatever.
Right.
We're going to look at it and go, yeah, okay, whatever. But when it's the first time it's in your hand, yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, they were talking about like the symbols and the different things that they found underground when they started. And even like petroglyphs and things like that, they depict what we would think was aliens on the sides and different things. And they had astrology down. And if we picture ourselves as just coming on this earth, we don't have any other knowledge, which they, according to our knowledge, didn't. How do you come up with some of the stuff that they came up with?
I got something to make your brain hurt.
What's that?
What are people 2,000 years from now, if the Earth's still here, going to think about us, or 2,000 years from now, going to think about us now?
They're going to be looking at us as we look at cavemen.
Mm-hmm.
That many years from now, I don't think they're going to find anything here of us.
Well, that's what I said, if it's still here. But I mean, where more can we?
We're going to demolish ourselves before we can get that far. We're going to it. I understand a third world war is almost inevitable, but wars are inevitable. It happened way back, as far as we could record, which was Viking time. The kings and queens were able to read and write and were able to record. It happened then. They were fighting for goods, they were fighting for land, they were fighting for survival. And honestly, that's what we're doing now, is fighting for our own lands, which I know you weren't here when I said it, but to me, all of this is all of our land. I understand why they have borders and different things and states and separate them so people can move where they believe things are the way they want them. I get it. But this is our world. This is not, okay, so Egypt is, it's its own little thing and it's not ours. It's our world. We can travel anywhere we want to.
I do agree with that. And not to get on a political side, I agree, but I disagree. The only reason I disagree is because we have to pay for what we have.
Right?
And
The problem with that is that even when we pay for what we have to continue paying year after year after
oh
year.
my gosh, yes. I mean, once you buy a house, you shouldn't have to. I mean, once you bought the land, you shouldn't have to keep paying on that land. But, anyways, that's neither here nor there. But, but I
And
mean, nothing is actually, if you think about it, nothing is ever truly yours.
no, because you're a paycheck away from having it taken away by the government, by the state, by whoever
I
your
mean,
land.
even when it's paid off, it's still not yours.
Right, right. Then the state can take it when you don't pay the taxes, or the city can take it if you're not paying those taxes, or
Or if
whatever
they
the case
in
might
your
be.
neighborhood,
If you are paying, they can still take it away as eminent domain.
that's where I was going to go. If they feel that that's better for a shopping mall or something, or they can still
And they're
take it from
doing farms that way a lot, and it's been happening for a long time.
you.
But
Jeremy passed the Nissan plant. What he doesn't know is they were offering people like pennies on the dollar for these houses.
mhm,
These houses where the Nissan plant were, these were like family homes for a long, long time, paid for family homes.
yeah,
And the people who didn't sell because they didn't want to sell, they had no choice
right.
because Nissan was moving in.
And this is a lot very it looked like it was about a half a mile long. One continuous building.
Yeah,
And I mean,
it's
these people got screwed because I mean, you couldn't go. I mean, just think about you're in his parents' home, right?
yeah,
So you pass that down to your children.
yeah,
Then all of a sudden they come in and say, "Oh, we're taking your home because," or yeah, because your home is only worth, and I don't know it. I'm just saying, only
yeah.
worth $60,000. We're going to give you 70, but that's okay. Maybe you're making money, but you cannot go buy something else for 70.
Nope, nope. And that is a real thing. It's happening everywhere. And if we're gonna here's me and my conspiracy theory thing, but I saw, they have an agenda every year. Agenda 2020, Agenda 2021. Agenda 2021 is the one that really got me, because if you go back and look at it, it is online. You can see it. As far as I know, I haven't looked at it in about a year, but they actually had plans. Like, Trump said that he had no knowledge of Agenda 2025. Okay. I don't know if he did or not. But 2021 had it where, and the reason I was so interested in it was I lived in New Mexico, and Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico were to become a place for government to hide. So, and they had different places. And then it came out that every Walmart that's built has a tunnel underneath it. You notice how almost every Walmart, they're constantly, there's road work done in front of it. There's all kinds of things. From what was said then, there is tunnels under Walmart.
I've heard that, but I've never heard anybody actually confirm that, but I have heard that.
Right, me too. And that's as far as I've gotten with that. But Carlsbad Caverns, and there was several state parks, and different caves that were going to be safe havens for government officials if whatever happened. And then they had the second part of the agenda was that they were going to clear. And that's what scared everybody, was because, they were buying out farms. The government was. And saying, you're not making profit. You're out of here. We're buying it. It was happening in New Mexico a lot. So those places were going to be open land. For what? We don't know. But nobody was allowed to live there. And they were going to make communities for the people remaining, was the wording. People remaining. So what's happening to the other people? Is it the virus? Is it, how are they going away? Anyway, they were going away. And they were building tall, like skyscraper communities. And that's where they were going to live. And they were told where they were going to live. This was in 2021. I can't imagine what's happening now.
Well, I know that, kind of off subject, but still on subject. We have a local bar that was here. Very famous bar. It was called The Dock.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally on the reservoir, and everybody hung out at the dock. Warrant would come and play there. They came quite a bit. Big bands, Cinderella, all them would come play there. Well, a lot of places, it was in Ridgeland, so the cops would sit not too far from there, knowing they were going to pull somebody over.
Oh, yeah.
The city came through and said, we are shutting the dock down because of the eminent domain. We're shutting it down because we're going to put a strip mall there. That was in 2001. There's still no strip mall.
No, that's part of the open land.
Mm-hmm. But it was like, heck, it was probably one of the only places cool to go.
Right.
You would take your boat. You'd be on the water. You'd come dock your boat. And there's other bars now around there. But you dock your boat and you would go in and party, or you'd come through. I took Jamie Foxx there.
Yeah.
And
that's those kind of things, those kind of places where, I understand the boat thing, where you're out fishing all day and you can go a little place and there's a dock that's a gas station and a little grocery store. You get what you need. There's one that's a bar. They had that anywhere there's water. And those are things you remember. Those are things that are American.
Yeah.
And they're getting taken away. And what's sad is it's so slowly. And those things are out there for us to read. They are there, but nobody's looking at them. Or they think it's bullshit.
Speaking of water, I was telling Jeremy I really need everyone's prayers next weekend. I have got to help paddle. I was voluntold. I am help paddling.
I love that.
I'm helping paddle in a dragon boat regatta.
I want video.
No.
Yes.
This is after walking 6 miles today.
Yeah, this
you know what? I don't want to hear the 6 miles. I don't. If my ass is going out there every freaking morning at 5 a.m., and yes, he gets me up, and we are at the damn gym at 5 a.m.
I tried that. That didn't work for me.
And I am, you know what? If it was just me, it wouldn't work. But I have motivation, and we are lifting from 5 to 5:30. It's lifting from 5:30 to 5:45 45 is cardio. Now he's doing his own thing upstairs. I don't know if he's doing it. But anyway, I know I'm down in the gym part. He's up doing the paddle ball. And then we go down, get in our swimsuits, go swimming, and we do the 200 yards.
See, no, I gotta do my little paddling and stay in rhythm. Well, we're gonna be one of the first
That's
teams
the row
kicked in.
machine.
Yeah. Now, is this going to be at the reservoir that you took?
Yes.
So if I can do that, I want video.
No, and there's snakes and alligators in this water.
There's snakes and alligators everywhere there.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. I mean, like, I did not sign up
Well,
for
don't
it.
do it.
I got a phone call. What was it, Monday? Why did you not sign up for this? Because it's work related. I'm like, because my shoulder kind of hurts sometimes. They're like, oh, okay. Nope, you're going. You're doing it. So I was
So
like,
use
okay,
my
I'm
other
going.
shoulder.
I'm like, let's see what side I need to be on the boat.
Hi, Denise. Hi, Terry.
Monday, I just started doing my own exercise because I really need to lose the weight. And I was doing one of those 25-minute things with Sean T. The last couple days, my right hip has been in pain, and I
Okay, you
wonder if it has
understand.
anything to do with that was where they took bone out of my hip.
You understand that you can't go from 0 to intense. That just doesn't work.
Well,
So
I was doing the modified version of it because
that's
he
still
has three people doing the full version, and then another person with him doing the modified version for those that can't go the full 0 to 60. That's
so
what I was doing. It's the first bit of exercise I had done in about 2 years.
right. Okay. I've been here anyway. I haven't exercised in a very long time. So I started writing down. So I'm doing where I do 5 reps, 3 sets of 5 reps, and go to failure after the 5 reps. I'm lifting that much. I'm looking at so I wrote them down today. You know how much I'm actually doing?
Ouch.
That's some bullshit. Because my leg curls, where you have that machine and pull down,
hmm
70 pounds is all I can do at 5.
Well,
5 reps.
Jeremy met me in what, 2021? Well, all of y'all met me in 2021.
2020.
Was it?
Denise.
I can't remember, but yeah, I mean, Jeremy can vouch for. I have gained a lot of weight since then.
We all have. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Denise, do not let
pocket. I can't even imagine how that's gotta feel.
Yeah.
Denise.
And
You tell Denise, tell Ernie to leave you alone.
Speaking of Denise, her and Ernie were just part of an episode that just came out a couple of days. I actually watched it. It's the first paranormal show I have seen in years. Because
See, no, it's not my first. I did watch, Beth and Bear and Leanne and them. I did watch some of theirs, but I did watch Denise and Ernie's too, with Todd and Leanne in it too.
I have not gotten to because I worked all week, but that's what I plan on doing tomorrow.
Denise, I don't want to know.
Oh my gosh.
Denise, no.
You know what's funny? I'm only lifting 170 pounds, pushing the leg press, 170 pounds. And I found out my right hip hurts like hell. And I know it's because when I was younger, I could pop that hip in and out. My daughter can do the same thing with both sides. But I used to do it all the time to freak people out. And now it's bone to bone.
Denise, are you able to put like a link or anything to the show? I don't know if it's got an actual link that you can put on.
Yeah,
Actually, I can get that link real quick.
Terry, if she can't, okay, okay. I was gonna say I can give it to you. I'll be
But
right.
I really think I just vomited in my mouth with Denise's comment. I think I literally just vomited in my mouth.
Oh, you know what sex is.
I
Sex.
know, but I don't want to think about Ernie with that.
Well, not Ernie, but
So I watched this show and I actually liked it. Normally, I don't like watching paranormal shows because it's all the same stuff. But this one here, they actually did some different things that I liked, which included taking part of the solar eclipse that
Yes.
um, because at that time I was doing oh shit. Somebody check that link and make sure that actually worked because what's showing up on my end isn't.
It looks kind of funny.
It does. A symbol came up.
Yeah, it's like a ghost symbol.
Yeah.
I think
So
maybe not.
somebody please click on that link and make sure it works. Um, because I was doing my own little experiment doing that eclipse, but the problem for me was I was not all the way in that range to get the full darkness. I think they were.
Denise, I'm gonna be in Nashville in September, so I'm gonna probably go a little bit early and bombard Todd and Leanne, but I don't know if they really realize or know that yet. So you need to come down and let's do something. Not Ernie.
Yeah, Ernie sent me the link to the show. Um, if he had not have done that, I never would have known about this because I don't pay attention to Facebook.
Actually, so if anybody is got a smart TV, there is an app named it's Haunt TV, and it does have haunted discoveries that plays basically in loop. Cause so there was some times I missed part of a show, but then I'd catch the other part later. But there, I mean, it is an app for Haunt TV, and that's where I can watch. It's Brandon and Mustafa and them, and the good thing is most of the people are buddies.
Yeah, Nashville is only a couple hours away from me because when I was staying there, Ernie had to go down to Nashville one day and then come back up. I think he made that trip while I was doing one of my nights at Waverly. If you haven't been to the Ditto House, it is an amazing place to go to. The whole city, well, not city, but the whole town is really awesome, especially when you go to the spot where they were um, marking different levels of different floods that they had, and the top level just completely is unbelievable. I still can't believe that the water flooded that high because it was like 20 feet from the ground.
I got a place you need to go visit, Jeremy.
What's that?
You really need to go to Jefferson, Texas.
What's there?
It's a very the whole town is pretty much haunted as well. Um, it's one of those. You remember how I took you to Vicksburg? How the streets were bricks.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of the brick roads as well in Jefferson.
oh no, Denise, that's awful.
I expected to hit.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that y'all survived the last set of tornadoes because y'all been getting hit too, like we have.
If the flood is expected to hit their shed, that means that's a lot of water. It's coming way up and way high.
That's
Okay, Jefferson, Texas.
so, Denise, with that being a historical site, is that insured enough to where, I mean, you can't even, if it ruins it, God, that's awful. You know, Denise, it's funny. I had not heard of Haunted Discoveries until you posted that.
Now, Denise, if you do
It's
get
been
damaged,
advertising that for years.
so Denise,
I had not heard of it.
if you do get damaged, and since your house is considered historical, does the state help you with any cost of that, or does it just go through your insurance? I might be being too nosy, and I'm
Oh
sorry
my
if I
gosh,
am.
Enoch, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you, honey?
Let's see, to get to Jefferson, Texas, I basically take the exact same route I did coming down to Mississippi, except I make a different turn in Memphis.
Right.
Yeah, you because it's almost Texarkana,
Yeah.
but
It'll
it's beautiful. My daddy was raised there. It's beautiful.
We plan on going. I'm gonna figure out where we can go between here and there, but um,
And really,
There's Ernie.
gosh,
Watch your damn mouth, Eileen.
staying busy. I'm gonna have to check in and see what you're doing these days. We're gonna go to Oklahoma, which one of the places I want to go to is which I know I'm going to get all kinds of shit for it, but whatever, is the Indian Cemetery. In my ex-husband's buried there. His whole family's buried there. My stepson is buried there. It's all good. I'm protected. Just listen, we're not going to go there. But that cemetery is crazy. Daytime, nighttime, it really makes no difference. All the people that are buried there are Cherokee and Eastern Shawnee. It's a private cemetery. The only one that takes care of it is my son. And, that's one of the things I'm not going to say film because I'm not putting it out or doing anything like that, but I want to investigate there. Another one is Red Rock School in Kansas. I got permission to do that. So we're going to see what happens there. And, between here and Veneta, Oklahoma, I want to see what there is. Thank you, honey.
Going back to the pillars underneath the pyramids,
Uh-huh.
some kind of structure,
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it makes sense because when you look at all the obelisks around the world, it is topped by what appears to be a pyramid because
hey,
they all have that pointy tip. So
Right.
to say that the three pyramids of Giza could be just that.
We don't know. This is new evidence, so it's really cool to think about.
Yeah. And how many, with all the different thousands of years, it it would make sense because the fence was completely covered,
Yeah.
and they were able to un unbury it, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So if they did the same thing with the pyramids, who knows?
hey, Denise and Ernie, it's gonna be. I think it's late September. I have to look at my calendar.
GPR has been huge for finding things that we didn't know existed.
That's one of the good things about some of the technology that's coming out more recent.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
because it is helping us find out more things about our past that either we didn't know about or completely disprove what we thought we knew.
And the bad thing is we have both sides. The conspiracy theorists that are so far out there that, you know, do you believe them? Because it's possible. Anything's possible at this point. Or, you know, you have the ones that fake stuff. So, and I'm not talking investigators, I'm talking about just citizens. So, you know, where is the middle ground? Like, what is the truth? I don't think anybody knows, and I think that's the problem. We all have our beliefs.
A lot of the conspiracy theories out there are way out there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those theories make sense.
Right.
Um, look at all the conspiracy theories of the JFK assassination.
Yeah. And then it came out. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't looked at a single page. What is it?
I hadn't either.
80,000 pages that came out.
Mm-mm. I
I
haven't either.
I'm at the point I don't even know if I would even trust what came out.
Yeah.
It is the government after all.
That's my point.
Yeah. And that's a problem. You know, the narrative has been written by that government from the beginning of time. So, you know, we were listening to a book. He goes to sleep with books, and they're usually history. And I'm fine with that because I was never a history buff. If I'm going to a place, I'm looking it up. But it's, you know, certain things like some of our war generals, one in particular, was suspected to be a woman. And I'm like, so this defeats everything we ever knew or thought we knew. So
Yeah.
if that's possible, what else?
Well, are you talking about war general like way back in history?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh, I can actually see that happening because there are stories of women
Right.
pretending to be men because they wanted to be a part of certain things
Right.
like army. So
This one actually was promoted many times and ended up making a huge difference in our society now, you know, with what they did. But I was like, wait a minute, what? And there's one that's confirmed that that actually happened. I'm like, you know, and this one, they were talking about how this person wouldn't eat with the rest of the crew. They wouldn't change or bathe with the rest of the crew. They wouldn't go to extracurricular activities like the rest of the crew did. I don't know. The body was never found.
I remember they made a movie back in the 80s. Um, had nothing to do with an army, but it was set in either high school or college,
Mm-hmm.
like one of the guys or something like that. The movie is called One of the Guys.
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen like, you know, movies on
Just One of the Guys.
17th century things that happened that was that way. But this one had a huge, matter of fact, I'm going to find out who it is real quick.
All right.
Stop doing that, Jeremy. You're gonna make me do it.
And I'm tired. I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning.
Uh, look, I
I
got phone
had
calls
to
till
get
like
up extra early because I had a lot of work to do this morning. Today's my dad's birthday.
you're right. I saw
He's
that. Yeah.
he's 84 years old,
And going strong.
strong as he can go.
So I don't want to hear about 6:30. My ass is up at 4:15 every day. I don't want to hear it.
Well,
Um,
the last few days I hadn't been getting up until 9 o'clock, and I have not been liking that because I have
yeah,
been working on trying to get up earlier and earlier.
yeah.
But this trip kind of set me back a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, yeah. It absolutely will.
Yeah.
So the person that I was thinking of was Lafayette,
Okay, yeah.
and I was like, I'm listening to this story, going, "What the hell is going on right now?" And there's no proof either way, but that is the speculation right now. But if that's the case, this person did some huge things in history.
Like General Lafayette or
Yeah. Uh, Military. I can't remember if it was general, if it was, he was high ranking, very high ranking by the time he was done.
right now the only one that I'm finding of that name is Gilbert du Mortier, Marquis de Lafayette. But that doesn't sound like the one that you're talking about.
No, no. Let me see.
Yeah, today's dad's birthday, and I was going to mention this last week, but last Thursday was dad's mother's birthday. She would have been 108 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, she died at the age of 82. Dad's 84, and he is the only one left of all the kids there.
You know, when that happens, that is a very sobering thought because mom and dad just went to a funeral and it was dad's side, right?
Mhm.
And he came back and he said, "Well, we're the oldest of the bunch."
Well, out of the entire York family, the large family, I think Dad is the oldest one now. There's only from his dad's side. There is one person from his mother's side who's 87, but from his dad's side and all his aunts and uncles and all that, Dad is the oldest.
And that's,
Marquis.
when you said, what is it?
Marcus Marquis Lafayette.
Marcus Marquis.
Well, it's Marcus American anglicized Marquis
Marquis. Okay. Lafayette.
Yeah.
Well, I did find Marquis de Lafayette.
That's him. But I learned so many things just listening to these stories right before bed because when I'm asleep, they say you learn things with your gut playing. No, you don't. Because I don't remember shit when I'm asleep.
I tried that in school. It didn't work.
No.
Fall asleep to the recording of class. Yeah, that didn't work.
No. I don't remember shit. But the one thing that, the first few minutes of whatever's playing, and sometimes I can't go to sleep because I'm listening to it. But another thing that they were talking about Christianity when it first started and how, all the different aspects of it, which I'm not getting into, what's right, what's wrong. Nobody knows, nobody cares. You believe what you believe, and that's perfectly fine.
Mhm.
But when we go into communion and break bread, what it unleavened bread, they were talking about, you know, how they say that's the body of Christ. Well, when this first started, people that didn't know what Christianity was were saying that, send you a link for what? If it's the show that Janice and Ernie are talking about, it's up top. But they were talking about people were scared of them, saying that they were actually eating people and drinking blood and, you know, different things. So it's always been a thing where we fear what we don't understand instead of trying to figure it out and talking to people on their level. You know, if we did that, things. What?
We don't just send links to random people.
If you want the link to the show that they were just talking about, get it.
I think he's
From-
trying to get a link to this show.
If
You know, he's basically demanding send me links. I don't play that game.
okay, look, tell us what link you're wanting. If you do that one more time, it's done.
Yeah.
We don't do this. I
So
will be that bitch. It's fine. This show, you're on it if you're what?
Basically, just talk. I mean, tell us what you. I mean, any questions you have, and we'll
yeah,
entertain talking about it.
yeah, but we don't just send links just because somebody tells us to. That doesn't work.
I might send you a link, but it may not be what you're asking about.
Right.
Eileen, you look so exhausted.
Dude, I am. Yesterday, the phone rang from 10:30 to 1:30. It was our call center, and every time I answered it, no one was on the other line. So then I got to work and I called my supervisor. I was like, "Look, somebody needs to call the call center." I said I called them back, and there was nothing going on at my property. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We forgot to take you off the call center at the other property." I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
So what does the call center do? Have like issues?
Well, if you have like an emergency, like just say your AC goes out or something like that, then we're not going to let you go overnight without it. So we have emergency maintenance on call, and if
Right,
they don't answer their calls, it comes to me.
Okay. Got it.
So, but it was for it was to the other property I was helping out at. So
No. Troy, if you want to, are you talking about getting on our show?
yes, that's what he's talking about.
If you want to do that, message either Jeremy or myself. And
Don't
we'll
message me because I probably won't get it.
Right. We will discuss, you know, getting a date and what you want to discuss. That's okay. Or you can message any one of us, me or Jeremy, and we can answer a question you have. I'm not sure what you're trying to do there.
It looks like
Message
parts
on
of New Haven
Facebook.
is. It looks like parts of New Haven is flooded
New Haven, what's that?
where I live.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But Troy, if
Oh,
you
wait,
want,
no.
if you have any
5
questions
hours
for
ago.
now, Troy, if you have any questions now, go ahead and ask them in the chat. And if it's something we can't help you with, there's several people in the chat that can help as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But no, yeah, I'm really tired. There was a lot going on today.
I'm glad it's my Friday.
Yeah.
No, I got the other half of my property to walk tomorrow. I only got half of it walked today.
Oh,
Hey,
fun for
think
you.
of all the think of all the movement you got in today.
I don't want to think of all the movement I got in today. Jeremy saw the size of my property.
Okay, I think we're about to.
She showed me her entire resume.
No, we just happen to pass all the properties I've worked at recently.
Yeah, and this is the day after she got lost.
Join what?
Oh my gosh, did you tell them about when we got lost?
I told them about us getting lost. I told them about the dog, um, about that police officer.
Yeah, I'm about to say the police officer. Yes, I told you. Did I tell you I talked to other police officers in that county and they were ticked.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was.
The bridge was still the weirdest thing. I will say the bridge was the weirdest.
I talked about that as well. In fact, I still have.
Just for the plain fact, we just got the pamphlet. I thought it was in
Yeah,
Clinton. We just got the pamphlet. GPS literally took us off the interstate just basically to cross the bridge. And then, it normally reroutes you when you get closer to be able to turn. But literally, the instant my tires got off the bridge, GPS rerouted. But it was still a
yeah.
few, 3 or 4 miles down the road before we had to turn.
But
Wow.
we were already off the bridge by the time we realized that this was the bridge that we had been talking about. Uh,
Jeremy, can you get rid of that?
yeah,
This is ridiculous.
I went to the casino the other day, Jeremy, and I thought about trying to go back by that bridge.
well, Jenny was asking me if I could go back to that bridge the next day, but I wasn't. Okay, that's not working.
I just thought it was very odd that that's where GPS took
Right?
us off.
I'm
And
gonna
then,
send you a link, but it ain't gonna be one you like.
Oh, hang on.
but I haven't, other than the deaths that were found. I mean, I've done some research on that. Other than the deaths that actually happened that day in the water,
Hmm.
I mean, the guy lived
Oh,
a long life.
That is cool though. That you had no intention of going there, and it reroutes you there.
we
Well, like
weren't
I
even
said,
thinking about it.
Well, and like I said, I thought it was a place in Clinton because on the pamphlet it says Clinton, but that's just where the place is that you can donate to or
Hmm.
whatever. But then it was like I said, normally it starts rerouting you right before you get to the exit or the place, but it still was like 4, if not a lot more miles back because we had to go through a town to even get to the interstate, and it immediately rerouted us right off the bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it was the same direction we would have been going.
it was like the GPS wanted us to go there.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've
Oh,
never,
I
and
didn't
even
tell you.
from here, I've never heard of it. And I just happened to pick the pamphlet up, not really even for Jeremy. I just picked up saying, I'll go check it out another time.
I'm actually glad you did because I'm going to write a story about this. In fact, I'm going to start tomorrow.
And then then we passed some friends of mine on the side of the road while they were moving. I was like, wait, that was
Oh,
my friends.
yeah, we did.
I didn't tell you. The the place we went, the mosquito infested place.
Oh, that
Okay.
was a nightmare.
Okay. Well, Zach went. Oh, he took mom and dad to a funeral last week, and they are actually. I said something on the show about them screwing it off, but they are actually the general store is now. It's got a fence around it. They've repainted it, and they're actually restoring it.
Really?
I love general stores.
I mean, this was an all black community. And that was the first community where they told them, you know what, you're exiled here. You make it or don't. And they made it. And I mean, they made it. People were coming there to shop, to dance, to, they did an amazing job.
You
And
know,
then it fell apart.
locally we have, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of the guy, this kid actually, Emmett Tillman.
I heard the
Um,
I know
name,
that
but
name.
I don't know what it is.
he was killed. He was a black kid. He was killed in the Delta here in Mississippi. I keep wanting to go try to find, but I think it's still kind of a very redneck place that I don't know if I'd
Mhm.
feel comfortable going to.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's
And
go.
but I want to go and see if I can do any investigations. But I really think it's still the kind of town. If they even thought I was doing anything with Emmett Tillman, I would be putting myself in danger.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was a sad story. He went into like a general store, and it was an all white community. He was his grandmother and all was from there, but he had moved, I think, to Memphis, and he came back against his mom didn't want him to, but she finally let him come back to visit, and they said that he whistled at the store owner's wife, and they ended up beating him to death.
That hap-
And
happened
it
a
was pretty
lot.
dramatic. I mean, he was just a kid. And come to find out, and I think she finally just died, but come to find out, she finally admitted none of it ever happened. He never whistled at her. It was all made up basically just to kill him.
And I think that happens so much back then.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Just
that happened.
unreal. And, when I lived in Oklahoma and went to New Orleans, if you look at the line of states that I had to go from Oklahoma to New Orleans, we got to a certain point, which I won't put out there. I didn't think anything of it because we weren't prejudiced where I came from. And we go as far as we can before we need to get food. I'm 26. I walk into a grocery store and I look around, everybody's staring at me. And I don't mean in a good way. They are staring at me. And I realize I'm the only white person within 100 miles. Besides my husband waiting out in the car for me because I need to go to the bathroom. I thought, okay, we were in the wrong town. I used the bathroom and I thanked them and I left. We went.
Yeah, I have friends of mine, and they're black. They stopped at there was this place in Alabama. They were traveling. It still said no colored people allowed.
Yes.
Man, knowing my friends, and I mean, they're the type that, oh my gosh, you never know what they're gonna do. They pulled into the joint and went on in.
Absolutely. Unreal. But if they would have had a sign out there that said no white people, I damn sure wouldn't have stopped. I would have at least had a warning. And then the further I got toward New Orleans, the worse it got. You go into a grocery store and they're looking at you like, the fuck you want?
And I
No.
said Emmett's last name wrong. It's Emmett Till, not Tillman. Emmett Till.
Oh, okay.
There's a movie that I really enjoy called Rosewood, and it very much is a lot like the scenario you were talking about, where a white person made up this story about this black person, and there's this riot where
Right.
they're trying to kill him, and it turned out she was lying.
But I said, what was the name of the movie? They did make a movie about this.
Rosewood.
Rosewood. Let me see if that was.
Yeah, it's got John Voight, Bing Rhymes, Don Cheadle, Bruce McGill.
I'm sure it happened a lot, honestly, because people got a power trip, knew they could.
Yeah. But this
And
was a really, really good movie.
I understand why they
No,
looked at
that was about that was if it was a 1997 movie, that was based in about something in Florida.
Yeah. But
I
it's
understood
still the
later.
same scenario that you were just telling us about.
Right. And it happened a lot. That's the problem. It happened a lot. And later, when I came back and started doing some research, I understood why they looked at me like that. And, they've been handed down this history just like we have, where some of our people want to feel superior just because. I
If
get
you
it.
if you want to watch the movie about Emmett Till, it's called Till. It's on Netflix, or it was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is.
Okay. But, another bad part of that, those people still
Oh,
feel
he's
that.
only 14.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, it was terrible. And when I went into the Ninth Ward, I think you know what I'm talking about, Eileen.
Yeah, yeah.
We had houses we had to do there
I'm
to
about to
take
say this. Yeah, because it was after Katrina too. Yeah, so it was bad. I think that's right around where. Oh, oh gosh, I cannot believe I can't think of her name all of a sudden. Used to own the asylum in Broken Bow.
I can't think of
Ashley,
her name either.
Ashley.
Ashley
Um,
Storm.
yeah,
Yes,
thank you. She was from that area.
you
She
know,
was a Katrina victim.
there was another Katrina victim that lived in New Mexico because they kind of scattered them wherever. And this lady was a black lady, beautiful lady. I mean, gorgeous. She decided to take on a crazy role, and she was homeless and decided to take those checks and just put them in the bank because they were giving them monthly checks.
Right.
She lived on the street, put them in the bank, and then took on a role of being crazy and would dance in front of all the windows and watch herself dance. And I was like, there's got to be more to this. So I decided to talk to her one day. Everybody was scared of her, wouldn't talk to her. I'm like, no. I was walking down the street and I started talking to her. It was no secret that she was putting all that money in the bank and panhandling, living on the street. She had a goal in life. That's all I can say. She had a goal in life. And this was 10 years ago. Her hobo boyfriend, they would do their thing right out there where they were panhandling in the middle of the day, like at a crossroad or whatever. They would do their thing right there where people
Oh
could see
wow.
them. He ended up getting hit by a car
Oh no.
right there in front of her.
Hopefully not while they were doing their thing, but okay.
Well, I guess not because she was far enough away from him. She didn't get hit, but she watched him die.
Mm.
And, a lot of the town did too. But from then on, she, I guess, really did go crazy. I think she was acting before that, but then I think she really did. Anyway, she had a lot of money in the bank. Everybody knew it. I don't know what politically happened, but they gave her an ultimatum. They will put her on a bus and send her to Texas, or she's getting arrested. She didn't do anything wrong to get arrested. I don't know what ended up happening to her, but nobody has seen her since. And I was in Texas a lot. Nobody has
Well, I'm about to say it depends on what the laws are for
seen.
homelessness. If
There isn't any there.
Oh, okay.
The reason for that is because it's warm pretty much all year. I mean, it does snow, but it melts by morning. So they can survive. They're not going to die like they would here. I think somebody in law enforcement did something to her. I really do. She never got transferred, which is a terrible thing.
And that too also happens a lot.
Yeah, yep. And I wish I'd have stayed in contact with her a whole lot more than I did. All right, are we ready to shut the show down? Because Eileen's about to fall asleep.
She,
Hey, y'all got me.
we did.
So, we
How
can't
come we got you back on the show?
say, if Eileen was on the show every damn week and she did that, we'd say she's drunk. But we know she's been working her ass off for the last, it's been almost a year.
And she even took me through the property complex. And
I would not. I mean, I understand the money. I understand the goal, but holy shit, I would not wear myself down like that. No way in hell.
she can't go through every building that's on her thing
No.
in one day. What is it? 30 some buildings? 40?
Yeah, 40-something buildings.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No way in hell.
We're talking 5 or 6 per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Like we do quarterly inspections, and we have to, in a whole 3 months, we do 2 buildings every, I'll say 4 buildings a week, and we're struggling to finish by the end of the month or the end of the quarter.
Yeah. No. Oh, did you see where somebody, I can't remember who it was. Anyway, somebody higher up there proposed that we are like, the Oriental countries and only work 2 to 3 days a week.
Can we?
That's all fine and great, but are we going to get the same pay is my question.
That's the thing. That would all drop. But see, like my business is, just like many, is essential. Like when COVID was going on, I was at,
Absolutely.
because if like I had to go through and walk all my vacants and check water heaters and all that because,
they had to have
water heaters
homes.
buzzed. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she had a water heater nightmare the day that she took me all over.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She got out of work about an hour later than she tried to.
Well, and that's the difference between, people don't understand the difference between people that clock out and get to clock out at a certain time every day. There's no variation, no matter what happens during that day. When you clock out, there's no thinking about it again. And then there's jobs.
I've already been getting phone calls. We had someone that left their bathroom sink on, and I guess it clogged, and they're upstairs, so it just flooded the downstairs, and so yeah.
And I wasn't fortunate enough to where when it's time to clock out, I can just go. I did not go until the next shift came in to relieve me. And that would even be if it's 20 minutes after. Like if they had to have some sort of a meeting before they could come down to the floor, I could not go anywhere. None of us did.
Yeah, I'm forced to take lunches now. A lot of times I just sit around and go outside, smoke, whatever. I'm forced to take lunches, which is a joke because I took a lunch today and didn't know I was going to walk my property. So I was like, I'm going to go walking. And so in 30 minutes, I got 4 phone calls and 2 text messages. And one of the texts is, can you run to the parts store and get us a compressor? So I was like, that's fine. So I just clocked in and went and got the compressor. I'm like, because someone's AC needed to start working. And so, but 4 phone calls and 2 text messages in 30 minutes.
That's not okay.
During my lunch.
Well, she's
I was
American,
on
so she's going to get all the communications.
I was on my way to a funeral and I had to pull over to answer text messages.
No. No. Mm-mm. There has to be your time.
Well, see, my problem is not my position, but it's because of the longevity I've had with the company. Other properties call me, other regions call me, vendors call me, all that.
I would turn off my phone.
Yeah,
Fucking done
nope.
during a funeral.
Well, during the funeral, I did, but on my way to the funeral, I mean, it was out in close to Bay Springs, Mississippi, and I mean, I was getting phone calls and texts all the whole time.
There's got to be a line.
Jeremy got lucky that weekends. I'm normally okay, normally, so he got lucky on it.
There's got to be a line. They have to have some respect somewhere.
Well, I will tell. I tell people when I'm out of.
No respect.
Well, I will tell people I'm going to be out of pocket. Like if I go on a ghost hunt, I'm like, I turn my phone on airplane mode, so you're going to be the next in command. Yeah, I make those
Right.
arrangements
Right.
when I'm actually have something I've got to go do.
When I would get off work, if somebody called me while I was off work, I don't answer.
No.
I don't care.
Yeah, see, I'm on call 24/7 because
That's the problem.
like I've gotten
Yeah.
a call at 4 a.m. Someone's apartment's flooding because the water heater upstairs busted and maintenance. I mean, people sleep. I mean, I
Right.
don't begrudge that. Now, if it happens too much, that's different. But
Right.
maintenance didn't wake up, so I had to go turn the water heater off, get the wet vac, start wet backing it up until maintenance could get there.
Right. I mean that's okay. I understand that, but and that is the nature of your job and the
Yeah.
position you have.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew that when you took the position, but there
Oh,
is
yeah.
a point, where it's like, okay, this is my time. My life doesn't revolve around this.
But to that being said, they better send me to Destin to help with the lease up property that we got going on in Destin because I said all the help I do, they
Mhm.
want to send me to North Dakota, and I'm okay with that as long as they send me to Destin.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I said if they send me to Destin, then do expect me to take one day and go to the beach.
I mean, I'm sure, especially as long as you've been there. But I'm sure in any equity, you make more than I do. But
You'd be surprised. I probably don't.
with my company, yes, they're a Fortune 500 company and they're huge. We're in 3 countries, but you would think with that they really wouldn't care you're a number. But it's not that way.
No,
The
and
DEI in our company, we have ERG calls where you can go to. It doesn't matter, what, if you're an ally or if you just want to join or if you're a part of it. We have like I'm part of the women's group, and then they have the transgender. They have it goes to anything you want to, and we are allowed 30 minutes anytime we want to go to any one of these meetings. So we could have 3 hours off a month just to attend these meetings.
see, I'm also a part of it's called it's MAA, Mississippi Apartment Association. It's part of the National Apartment Association. So I'm on the membership committee there, so I have to attend functions with that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
part of the Institute of Real Estate Management, IRM. But I laugh because my business card looks like I'm a doctor. It's got Eileen Jones, ARM, CAM, and RAM. I'm like
Right.
I'm like a doctor now. I can put CPO after it because I am pool certified now. I'm one of the only 2 managers in my company that is has pool certification.
Yeah, but does your company? I mean, like the company needs to take care of their people.
Oh, my owner. I mean, I was with my owner when he was a mom and pop. And what's so funny is he used to come to my property and have to go do something. I used to push his kids on the playground, the swings. Now, one of his kids is one of my bosses.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've got another owner. I was at a crawfish boil for the MAA, and one of the other owners that he's retired now, but his son walked up to me and put his arm around me, and he owns his own business now. And he looked at his employees. He goes, "That's my manager." They're like, "Huh?" They go, "She trained me in the apartment business." She goes, and she was the only one that never looked at me as the owner's son. She
Yeah.
treated me like crap, just like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, our company, we have what they call mental health days. You call in, you don't
So
have,
we just wanting the professional on staff. What are you talking about mental health day? We've been begging for a shrink on staff.
we have two choices when we call in. You don't speak to nobody. If you call into work, sick or not, is it medical or is it not? That's your only choices. And if it's medical, they take it from your sick days. If it's not, they take it from your vacation days. But no questions asked. And you get a floating holiday, which a lot of people are doing
Which
now.
we get, we get a lot of those. But now my bosses aren't as bad with me because, like, if I take a day off, they don't question anything. There's some days I'm just
Right.
like, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
And they don't question me because I mean, I give them more
Mhm.
time back because we roll some of it over, but we don't get to sell it or anything. I give them more
Right.
time back than I take.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't question me. And again, I've been with them almost 24 years. So
Right. Yeah. But they're becoming, the good companies and bad companies, that like how they treat their people, are becoming separated a lot. We have free mental health, which I should probably take advantage of. But anyway,
you need to take advantage of that before. Never mind.
yeah. But we get free mental health, like video chats with a
Hmm.
counselor. We get that free, and so does our family.
As of when I was last at my work, we did not have any mental health days. Now that could have changed since then,
All right.
um, but they don't care about us. If we called in, that took right out of the PTO. We didn't have like sick time and vacation time. They just merged all that together.
So now
Oh,
we
okay.
have sick time, vacation time, and then we have floating holidays.
Right.
Which, I mean, it doesn't really have to be a holiday, and you can just say you can have donut day. That's your floating holiday.
All right. And that's the reason it started, was because so many people celebrate so many different things.
Right.
So if one was important to you, like Christmas would be to a Christian, and Hanukkah would be, you can just take that off. That's perfectly fine. Me,
I think ours started because of Juneteenth.
I think that's where it started as well. Me, I take it off because I want to go fishing that damn day, and it's a floating holiday.
Well, see, and we get our birthdays as floating holidays. So,
We do.
like, so, like I'm taking off. I think I forget what day. I don't even know. And I was going to take my birthday off, but then somebody else needed to be off, so I changed it.
We used to have a floating holiday, but that day was set however the company wanted to set it, not when we wanted to.
Oh no, that's not a floating holiday.
Yeah. We
That's
had 8 holidays a year and then a floating holiday, and that was whenever the company decided. And that would either be like Martin Luther King Jr. Day or something like that.
we get to alternate um, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and then there's another day. So one year it's this, and the other year it's that. I don't care. To me,
Just give me a day off work with
I'm
pay.
working regardless. It doesn't matter. I'm going to work for you, or I'm going to work here for us. Whatever you want me to do, just let me know.
There, in the last couple of years that I was there, they the holidays that we had, we were almost always guaranteed off, but then they started saying, "Now we need you to come in on New Year's Eve, or we need you to come in on Christmas Eve."
Mm,
Screw that. There's
no.
still a holiday, so if we're working, we'll get in double time.
See, I'm salary, so I don't get.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's worse because you're working more hours. And if you actually counted your hours, you'd be a millionaire.
Well, that's like, I mean, even one reason I have a laptop is because of work, is because, I come home. Sometimes I look at my office and go, nope, I don't want these four walls. I'm going
Mhm.
home and I'll just work from home.
Mm-hmm.
Because my job can be remote. Like when COVID happened, what we did is we split where somebody was in the office, somebody worked from home, and then the next day we'd flip
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
So you're hybrid.
in your case, you're less than a mile from work.
Yeah, I'm 1.4 miles.
Okay, so
I calculated that. So because sometimes when I've had a bad day, I'll drive the neighborhood just to because I don't have that decompress time. So
Mhm.
I'll drive the neighborhood to decompress.
Oh.
But well, speaking of, y'all ready to call this?
yep,
Yeah.
it's 10 o'clock right now. So
It's what time?
it's 10 o'clock right now.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock.
And I have a suspicion that things have changed to where only one person can go live on a page, because we had an issue last week. Tried to go live, and the Things Network page
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
allow us to go live. Every other page went, but the
Yeah.
network page wouldn't go live, and somebody else is already live. I had to wait for that person to get off so that I can get us on. So I think that's another unforeseen change that we did not know about.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
So
figure it out.
yeah, I need to test that out with somebody. Have
Well,
somebody go.
don't forget I won't be next week, but I will try the next week.
That'll be fine. Nick should be in much better spirits by then.
Hi. I think he's in good spirits, but poor guy, he's had hit after hit the last few months.
Yeah.
I messaged him yesterday or the day before, whenever it happened. I was like, dude, you're giving me a run for my money for a hospital stay.
I don't know about that.
Well, you don't need to work on it.
No, but he spent a week in the hospital in November.
That was
And then,
scary.
and then over the next couple of months, he's been having to go in for testing, scans, and all of that. And now he was again having to go back because he fell at work. So that just adds another dimension to
Are
that.
we getting fucking old? Is this what's going on here? Are we fucking getting old? Because
He's still a baby. This shit shouldn't be happening to him.
well, we've got what happened to you.
Yeah, but I
Happened
was
to him.
past 40 when that happened.
And come the 15th of this month, we'll find out what's going to happen with me.
Oh, you're finally getting that?
Finally getting it. So we shall see by the end of April.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now, cut the shit off. I don't care.
That'll be a hospital stay for that.
It will, but you know what? I ain't feeding no fucking kids anymore. If it's a problem, get the fuck rid of it and let's move on with life.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and call it. For those who were with us earlier, thank you for playing along until we got hit by the spammers.
Yeah, those are new. Thanks for the comments, guys.
Yeah, they were both on my YouTube page. So yeah, whenever somebody comes in and say, send me link, well, that's the person you don't want to send a link. All right, well, we will see you guys all next week. Eileen won't be here, but I'm sure Nick will be, and
And I still want to see pictures of what the fuck happens over there with Eileen.
Yeah.
Oh well, what she's doing won't be until after we do our show next week.
Well, but still, we
So
can
in
see
two,
pictures. Go on.
2 weeks
Go on.
we will be seeing pictures of her paddling her way around the reservoir, avoiding the gators, and I think we saw geese there that day too.
Yep.
All right, everybody, have a good night, have a good weekend, and for those that are still going through the storms, be safe out there.
Mwah.
Absolutely be safe.
Goodbye, everybody.